As it is for people, so too it is for nations. The podcast which pulls back the dark veil from the world you live in while helping you to make sense of complex issues facing the peoples and nations.
Well, hello, everybody. It is another day in the land of confusion. The United States of America. Now, there's a lot of things we could debate about. Being united might be one of them. But at this juncture, I want to tell you a little story. I was just recently in Alabama, in a little town, Gadsden, not far away from Huntsville. And I had a really amazing time. For a long time, I kind of had the vibe, I kind of had the feeling that what I loved about Main Street America had completely disappeared. And what I found kind of changed my perspective on stuff a bit. And I just went downtown, sat on a bench, just watched the world go by. Observed people. It was amazing. People actually said hello. They were friendly. They were kind. They wanted to have conversations. This is actual audio from Gadsden, from that moment when I first sat down. And just close your eyes and take it in. How often during our week do we just stop? Do we just stop and breathe and observe what's around us? We miss so much when we decide that, we're going to stay in the day-to-day rut, right? We miss so much. We're so damn busy. We're either on our phones with headphones in our ears. I'm guilty of that as well. And we kind of live in these bubbles. And what was amazing to me being in Gadsden was when I stopped doing that and just sat down on a little bench on a main street and took it in, I made myself available. Available to see, to listen, to interact with whoever and whatever was going on. And this gentleman came out. I was sitting in front of a coffee shop. And this gentleman came out and had an Alabama Crimson Tide t-shirt and hat on. He was inside playing chess. And he took a break, came out and had a cigarette. So I said, I'll have a cigarette with you. And we started talking, and it was amazing. We were both at the University of Alabama together at the same time. We didn't know it. He brought up Coach Gene Stallings. And we had gotten into a conversation about how this country really has a lack of examples of what real leadership looks like, and just kindness, and What was really cool is he pulled this story out that just, it was just an everyday situation, but it was a great story. And I think I'd like to, kind of share that story with you, So here we go. And tell me what you think, afterwards, but just kind of think about how this all happened. All right? All right, man. Tell me that story.
Okay. Here's why Coach Stallings and his family loved me. I was in college working at the Sheraton, and while they were staying there, and on Christmas Day, there were 152 rooms in the hotel, but only 3 occupants. One of the groups being Coach Stallings' family. Me and a buddy of mine who was from Connecticut, so his family was far away, we decided just to ride it out in Tuscaloosa and drink beer and have Christmas.
Right.
So Christmas morning, 8:30, 9 o'clock or so, down comes Coach Stallings. And he pulls me and my buddy Greg aside. He goes, "Hey, listen, we've got some kind of function at the university. Just take about an hour. Would y'all mind just keeping an eye on Johnny for us?" "No sweat, Coach. Be happy to." So he leaves. Now keep in mind, this whole place is empty. Mm-hmm. And if you've been to that hotel, you know the conference center's right behind it. All right. So Coach and his wife leave. Back in those days, before the internet and iTunes and all that stuff, you had these cassette tapes that you'd put into the wall, playing John Tesh music. You know.
Yeah.
So we ripped that thing out. I put in Led Zeppelin 4, and we cranked it up as high as it would go. We took Johnny and put him on a bell cart, and we were zipping him up and down the hallways.
Oh, that's
having
awesome.
a blast. Just a blast. And that's a pretty hefty run from one end to the other, so me and my buddy are taking turns. By the time I wheel him back up to the front door, lo and behold, the general manager of the hotel walked in. He was not happy. I'm about to get fired on Christmas morning, right? He sends us home, me and my buddy. He says, "You boys need to come see me on Monday morning." And we figure it's to pick up our last paycheck because we've just gotten fired on Christmas Day. We leave. Well, Johnny goes back up with Coach and tells Coach what a wonderful time he had, and how cool we are, and how much fun he had, blah, 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 blah. So Monday morning rolls around, and me and my buddy roll into the GM's office to pick up our last paychecks, we think.
Right.
He's looking at us, man. He's not happy.
Right.
He goes, "Boys, I got something for you." And we think it's going to be a pink slip. And he slides across an envelope across the table that had 4 tickets for me and 4 tickets for my buddy, so 8 tickets total, to Alabama-Auburn the following year.
Oh, wow.
40-yard line, primo seats. And he goes, "Fellas, I was about to fire you, but Coach Stallings called me up last night and told me how great you were, and says I'd be a fool to ever let you guys go. So please don't do what you did again, but here's your reward."
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Merry Christmas,
Now,
right?
the awesome part of the story comes about 2 days later when I had Alabama-Auburn tickets for the following year, 4 of them, and I just sold them in mass for $1,300.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I love Coach Stallings.
Yeah, because he knew.
Well, me and my buddy, we alternated Bellman and behind the desk at the same gig. And in a typical week, we'd make $300-400 off the Stallings. Because they had the suite, which meant she went to the grocery store, which meant we got to carry grocery bags.
Yeah.
Right? But the funniest Stallings tip story, he called down one day and said, "Yeah, could you mind bringing my car around? I'm heading out to the golf course." "Yeah, sure, Coach, no problem." So me and my buddy were outside, and we bring his car around, and he starts doing this, looking for his wallet to give us a tip.
Right.
"Coach, seriously, man, you've given me $200 this week. I'm good. I got to give you boys something." You know that voice, right?
Yeah.
I got to give you boys something. So he opens up the trunk and gets out a 50-pound bag of roasted peanuts. We ate peanuts for 3 weeks after that. Yeah, awesome.
Standout man, a real leader, always looked out for others. Always. It still does.
Yeah.
Still does.
The funny thing is, this buddy of mine, he's a fraternity brother of mine. And this was back in 1990, 91, whatever that was.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, the Stallings had rooms 352, 354, and 356. To this day, when my buddy calls me, I pick up the phone and go, "Hello?" He goes, 352. Because that's the way Coach Stallings, 352.
Yeah.
That's our greeting.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Honestly, I cried when Johnny passed. I did.
Yeah.
I cried.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we had a big time.
I tell you, it's stories like that shows the humanity behind stuff. People don't see that. They don't. They see
he
this.
Was a good man.
Yeah.
Who just happened to be a football coach.
Yeah.
A good one.
Yeah. Well, you see how he is now with folks. He's been through a lot of health issues, fairly recently and stuff. But he keeps coming back, man. And I tell you what, I mean, that's what we need in this country is people that are real people that look out for others, and that's leadership. That's servant leadership, and that's the way he was when he was coaching.
Yeah, but that came through his team. Now look at the team that won the national championship. Yes, they were national champions, and yes, they were all really good football players, but they weren't all first-round draft picks, exceptional. I mean, Jay Barker, great quarterback, but he was a very good college quarterback.
Take a good look at yourself and describe what you see. Baby, 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 do you like it? There you sit, and stare like a book on a shelf, but still I'm trying to find it. You really don't care if they're coming. Oh, oh, oh. I know that it's all a state of mind.
What a day that was. You know, I mean, that never would have happened had I not just stopped and sat down on that bench and just hung out. You know, just took the time, man. Who would have known? I mean, I went in there. I was looking for a good place to get a cup of coffee and chill out. And the people I met in that afternoon, it was healing. And I know that may sound, weird or whatever, but, we've been so divided as a country and isolated and each other's, at each other's throats. And there's just so much chaos and confusion. And, to be in a place where people were just keeping it real, I tell you what, it made all the difference. It was so needed. I felt refreshed. I felt a sense of hope, just hanging out with people that salt of the earth people like me. And, if you take the time to do that, I wish our politicians would do this more and leaders of all sorts, because you get great perspective on what's really going on, how people really think, and what's really most important. And, for me, it was like this bubble of peace and hope in this gigantic chaos of storms and madness going on. And, the guy was totally excited to tell me that story. I mean, everybody's got these amazing stories of things that have happened in their lives. How often do we actually take the time to even acknowledge the people who are there, much less listen to their stories? There's another gentleman I met, and I was sitting at the back of the coffee shop, and this gentleman walked in, probably, mid-late 60s, long gray hair, gray beard. In the area where I was sitting, there was a stage with a upright piano, kind of beat up looking, but still played great. I went up and kind of plunked around on it a little bit. And a Hammond B3 in the other corner, and probably 10, 15 guitars of all makes and models, just in a row right there. And this cat walked in with a Strat, sat down, and just blew my mind with some of the best blues I've heard in a long, long time. No one tried to stop him. It was like a normal occurrence. It's like all that stuff was just sitting there for people that wanted to come in and express themselves. And what a gift. What a gift. When he got done playing, we sat there and had a conversation and talked about the country, about where things are going, what's really happening, as opposed to Broad Street, the Broadway, the big city, what was really happening in Main Street America. The America that the coasts so often forget about, mock, ignore, put down, or don't even think about. Man, they are missing it. If you don't understand these people, you don't understand America. If you don't understand this is what America was built on. Average, everyday folks that are anything but average. And you don't meet every day because you don't take the time to meet them. But if you decide that you're going to do that, if you're going to decide to do it, go and do it like I did it. Be available. Enjoy yourself. Breathe. Take in the sights and look around you. Listen. Listen to what's going on. You know, what are you going to lose? You might have a lot to gain. A lot more than you might think. So, you know, in our fast-paced world, it's so easy for us to lose sight of what's important. It's so easy for us to miss the simple in the complexity that we find ourselves immersed in. But it's in that simple time when you breathe that things start to get clearer. You start to see something emerge that is not quite so dark, that's not quite so hopeless. And you get refreshed and find, you know what? This is worth fighting for. This is worth trying to put together, restore, refine, and remake. You know, I want you to think about that. Now, I'm going to end the night because it's getting late. Everybody needs to get to sleep. I need to get to sleep. But I want you to close your eyes and imagine you were sitting on that bench with me, observing. I want you to just kind of take in the scene. You know? Just be for a little bit. Remember when you had hope, when things were more simple, and ask yourself what you've gained by living in a world that tells you everything has to go faster, everything has to be new and shiny and digital. Think about what you've lost. And think about what you could gain or regain or experience for the first time. All right? It's really important that we change how we view things. All nations are made of people. People are amazing. If you want an amazing country, start giving them a chance. Start giving them a chance to amaze you. And be amazing in doing it. And be amazed in doing it. How you doing today, brother? Just be a part of it. Be aware of it. Think about breathing. All right, folks, it's late. I gave you a lot to chew on, but I want you to get some rest. I want you to sleep well. And have good dreams. All's not lost. God bless and good night.